The sound of glass breaking. Now that, you'd think would get a crowd's attention. But in the Turner dining room that night, it was nothing compared to the gasp that sucked the oxygen right out of the air. Evelyn Turner, the queen of pearls and pride, just went and tore the uniform straight off Grace, right in front of 24 of the fanciest folks in town. The chandelier above flickered like it wasn't sure if it should keep shining, and every pair of eyes darted between the maid, the torn fabric, and the woman who'd ripped it, as if any of us could actually believe what we'd just seen. God, Grace just stood there, hands trembling, her dignity shredded with her dress. I remember thinking, there's courage, and then there's whatever this is, something that gets born in you when life's already tested you too many times. She was young, just 28, black, quiet, the kind of woman who moved through a house without leaving footprints, but you always knew she'd been there. She didn't talk much, but when she did, it was always soft, always yes, ma'am, or no, sir. And somehow, that calm just made people nervous, made Evelyn downright angry. Now, Jack Turner, he was a different breed. Early 30s, rich since birth, the sort of man who could have any woman in that room, but his eyes always wandered to Grace. It wasn't about looks, though Grace, with those deep, calm eyes, could hold your stare longer than any socialite in silk. No, what drew him was the way she never crumbled, the way she treated everyone, gardener, butler, even Evelyn herself, with a steady respect. I'd seen it more than once, Jack hanging back after dinner, just long enough to catch Grace's eye, and in that split second, you saw something pass between them, something unspoken and dangerous. It started small, a sharp word here, a cold look there. Evelyn's rules, always about keeping staff invisible, seemed to tighten around Grace. I remember one morning, Evelyn snapped, "Don't walk so loudly in the halls." And I could have sworn Grace was floating, she was so light on her feet. But it wasn't really about walking. It was about power, and Evelyn had built her whole world on the illusion that she held all of it. And then came Margaret Dawson, Evelyn's best friend and fellow queen bee. She watched Grace, narrowed her eyes, and whispered, "She's rather pretty for a maid." Like that was an accusation. Evelyn gave this icy little laugh. "She's ordinary, Margaret, and she'll never be more than help in this house." Grace pretended not to hear, but Jack heard everything, and so did I. One night, after dinner, Jack caught Grace in the corridor. "You don't have to take her words," he said, and it sounded like more than just sympathy. Grace, she kept her chin up. "It's just work, sir. Words can't change that." But something in Jack shifted. He said, "One day, I'll show you you're worth more than this." And that right there, that was the moment things really started rolling. Evelyn, though, she saw it too. She started planning this dinner, the kind that could make or break reputations, every fork and lily placed just so, and everyone on edge. Clara, the other maid, whispered to Grace, "She's planning something." Grace just shook her head. "We'll do our work, that's all." But even Grace had to know, this wasn't just dinner, this was war. The night before, Evelyn called Grace in. The words she used were cold, surgical. "You are not family. You will never be anything to my son." Grace just bowed her head, answered, "Yes, ma'am," and walked out, but you could see the storm in her eyes. She told herself it was only work, just one more storm to survive. But storms have a way of breaking things. And so there we were, the night of the big dinner, golden lights, polished silver, violins, the whole 9 yards. Grace moved like she was gliding, but her face was pale, jaw set, remembering Evelyn's warning. Guests poured in, tuxes and gowns, laughter sharp enough to cut. Margaret, dripping diamonds, was one of the first. Jack found Grace's eyes across the room, gave her a nod. Just a little thing, but enough to keep her going. Dinner started. White lilies in vases, crystal glasses chiming, the smell of money, and something burning beneath the surface. As Grace poured wine, the whispers got louder. "Pretty girl to be only a maid," one woman said. Margaret smirked. "Pretty things in uniforms can be dangerous." Evelyn just smiled, eyes like razors, waiting for her moment. It came during the main course. Grace was serving Evelyn, moving so carefully you could hear her heartbeat. Evelyn barked, Stop. And you could feel the whole table tense. 2 years in my house, and you still can't walk with a tray? Look at you, standing like you belong here. Grace whispered. I'm sorry, ma'am. Evelyn grabbed her arm, yanked hard, tore the dress. The sound was like a gunshot. Time stopped. Guests stared, forks midair, Margaret's hand over her mouth. Evelyn breathing hard, victorious. Grace staggered, clutching herself, tears fighting to break through, but she stood her ground. Then Jack. Jack stood up, slow and deliberate, pulled off his jacket and wrapped it around Grace, his voice low but cutting through everything. Mother, that's enough. The room froze. Jack kept talking. You humiliated her not for failing, but because you hate what she represents. Tonight, you've shown us cruelty rules your table, but not mine. People stared, some nodding, some ashamed. Evelyn tried to protest, but Jack cut her off. No. Tonight, you crossed the line. Grace finally let herself cry, but there was something freeing about it. The rest of the dinner? Nobody remembers the food, the music, or the guest list. Only that scene. Later, in the quiet servants' corridor, Clara squeezed Grace's hand. You stood tall. Grace shook her head. I only stood because he did. But deep down, she knew something in her had changed forever. The next morning, the air in the house was heavy. Jack came into the kitchen, apologizing. Grace tried to wave it off. It wasn't you, sir. Jack wouldn't let it go. It was my house. My family. It should have been safe for you here. Grace tried to warn him. She'll only get angrier. Jack met her eyes. She already thinks I care for you. She's right. Grace's heart just about stopped. People will talk, she whispered. Jack smiled. Let them. Evelyn walked in then, cold as winter, called Jack out. They argued in the sitting room, voices low but fierce. You would throw away our name for her? Evelyn hissed. No, Jack replied. I'm giving it worth. Word spread. All over town, people whispered about what happened. Some admired Jack, some thought he was mad. In the house, the staff treated Grace differently, with respect, with kindness. She'd become a symbol, not just a maid, but someone who'd faced down the queen and survived out a week later. Evelyn called Grace in. No pearls, just tired eyes. You shook everything I built, she admitted. But Jack sees something in you I can't change. Grace told her, I only want peace. For once, Evelyn had no comeback. She just said, maybe that's why he loves you. That evening, Jack found Grace outside, sunset turning the mansion gold. My mother may never accept us, but I don't care. I love you, Grace. I always will. Grace's reply got stuck in her throat, but her eyes said everything. Life went on. The house still glittered, but something was different. That night, the night a mother tried to strip a maid's dignity, became the night everyone saw the real worth in the house. Not money, not pearls, but courage and love, and the refusal to stay silent when it mattered most. So what do you think, honestly? Was Jack right to stand up, or should he have kept peace? Would you have done the same? Drop your thoughts below. This is the kind of story that's begging for a real debate about justice, pride, and what family means. If you felt something tonight, share it. Let's talk about what's right, even when it's hard.